Okay, let me see if I can say this really quick. Just get into the point. The real downfall of social media, more specifically YouTube, okay? But social media, period, but more specifically YouTube and these platforms where people can be monetized. Nobody is saying what they really feel anymore, what they really truly believe. They are just going along with what is trendy, what is the popular narrative, okay? They're not saying what they really believe or even presenting facts to support what they believe. They're going along with what is the popular narrative. And then what happens is once that narrative is no longer popular or trendy, they just roll with the next pop what it you know if they're able to get away with it, if they can do that. Because some people have been able to just totally transition and flip flop their whole stance without people reminding them of where they used to stand. And they've been able to do this, but not everybody can survive that. But yeah, bottom line, I just wanted to come up in here, just as these thoughts. Yeah, I'm just doing this impulse stream real quick. Yeah, the bottom line is social media is jump sharp because once upon a time you did have people in social media, just like when you consider YouTube. One time YouTube was for like me and you. At least it seemed where people just whatever silly thought they wanted to express, or just if whether they felt it was just giving their opinion, their honest opinion, their feelings, or even if they just wanted to, just do something silly like showing their cat flushing the toilet. But it did seem like you had real people. Just like once upon a time, we used to believe that reality television was reality TV, but now everything seemed to be so scripted, and even these people who we suspect of being, we see as being real people, they're just now just following the trend, or they're running with the narrative that's popular. Like well, I heard that so and so show used to be about bashing black men, or doing, what I'm saying. They're just going along with, even if they didn't exactly experience this or witness this from themselves, or they have nothing to support this claim. Just like like just pearly things in the debate, they're just running with whatever narrative is popular and trending, and what sounds believable, and they're not even looking into things for themselves. And some people, they know that they're being deceptive, they know they're not totally being honest. um, the dead internet theory says that a large chunk of user activity is bots. Yeah, and yeah, we can also man, I know, I'm gonna get back out, because I already just did my stream for the day. But I just wanted to point that out, yeah, because I know it takes me a while before I get around to the point, especially when I'm doing these live streams on Impulse, and it's just me random speaking, just thoughts coming in my head. How you doing, DJ Mega Aim, Pentazoid? But yeah, and also, of course, technology, which is supposed to make things more convenient. Like I just shared something on my other channel, just some cool AI using of like making a Barbie dream house. But see, we know this is Barbie, this is fictional, right? So we understand that the Barbie dream house is going to be fictional. but see, this is when we start leaning too much on technology to replace reality. Like you're trying to show beautiful women representing, but all you're using is AI rendered images. Even if they look real, it's still not real. You know what I'm saying? And then and people say, well, what's the difference between using AI to represent beautiful women versus using, or quote unquote beautiful people, versus using art? How is that any different than an artist? Well, with uh, as see, and I see that that's very insulting to me as an artist. Okay, there's a big difference between still, even if it's art that can be seen as fictional, it is still coming from the human. It's coming from the human talent, the human skill, the human perception, unlike something that is just programmed. Of course, you can't have technology without humans, but unlike something that is just programmed, um Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's, I just ironically shared something on my other channel, like and now I see these videos, and I like, like they're showing the Barbie dream house, and now the thing is, Barbie's fictional, so yeah, I'm not totally against AI, but um, yeah, but even with that, considering that I'm a person who make doll houses, you know, see, I would just look at these AI images and it just inspire me. Oh, maybe I can create that. Maybe I can actually create a dollhouse that look like that. That's how I'm seeing it. Um, yeah, but there's nothing like. But that's the thing too. You got kids and not playing with dollhouses. Why play with dollhouses even if I can be in Roblox, if I can be in Minecraft and play with the houses? I got my Sims game right now. So yeah, right. And see, that's we have to understand. Art, it still comes from the human perception, the human experience, human talent, skills. Now, yeah, you need humans to program the technology, yeah. But that's the thing. When, like we all know that, nothing can replace the brain, the human brain, not even your most advanced calculator can can replace the human mind. Nothing can replace creation. Nothing. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Where you losing the human touch. I remember when we used to all know our neighbors. You used to know no matter what neighborhood you lived in, whether it was in the hood or you knew who lived next door to you. And I can't tell you the name of my neighbor today. I can't. I've seen them, but I can't tell you their name. I used to know who, like we used to have Miss Maddox to the right of my grandma's house and Miss Taylor to the left, the Taylor family to the left, and the Maddox family to the right. Now I can't tell you. Yeah, we're totally out of touch. We're not even writing love. Remember how you used to? Oh, nothing attracted me more. I love a letter, a handwritten love letter. Not saying that my husband and I don't do that, but I'm just saying. Remember on that movie when he said, don't send her an email. That's tacky. That's nerdy. You send a letter. That is nothing. I remember my guy. I remember one get into it, and then I'd find like an "I'm sorry" letter. Oh, that would I would just that was the next of it. That right there alone, that used to just get me like, oh, I'd forget everything. Just a beautiful letter. You see somebody's handwriting, their personal handwriting. Now they're trying to replace that with certain fonts and stuff that can be replaced, even your handwriting. But yeah, I just wanted to I'm telling you. See, this is why I kind of want to talk more. But I guess that kind of talk is played out now. Talk more into Mind Control Ultra, and in connection also with these elite families, how some of these humans may have been raised so that they could be the proper heirs. That's why y'all think I'm playing when I'm saying some of these people are short circuiting. Y'all think I'm playing. Yeah, and you remember how used to be how your neighbor, it's like that proverb or that saying that African, takes a community to raise a child. I remember one time, yeah, my neighbor had they had asked me. Well, I want to go all into that. But I did something bad. My neighbor kind of knew that I did something was questioning me. I probably already shared it with y'all. And my neighbor, this was back, oh gosh, this is late 70s though. But huh, I never heard that one. That's interesting. You think so? I mean, yeah, I never heard that one. Suburbia killed neighborhood relationships. Interesting. That I've never heard. But yeah, it's people. This is the down. If we were to talk about these downfalls, people, like I said, people are not really saying what they really feel. That was what was so great about social media. You know, and then people. Well, eventually, people became celebrities. Just, I guess you could say they became celebrities. Just being up in here, expressing themselves, expressing their own brand of humor. They're kind of funny, and just being themselves. And so next thing you know, you got these celebs, the ones who we saw as celebrities following quote unquote us, if you will, and wanting to be us, wanting to be social media personalities. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing too. Some could say that that also has led to the downfall. A lot of some of us being replaced by, or a lot of us being replaced by these people who we once would have seen as quote unquote celebrities. Like you got people like Willie D and having their own channel and stuff, and now they've become the voices. Or yeah, because I'm telling you, there are people up in here. They're quicker to they'll watch Skin Bone YouTube or social media skits over SNL. Remember how we used to have to watch like Saturday Night Live and Mad TV? I never really got into Mad TV or Living Color, where now people are more likely to tune into. Like, look at how this, even though I'm not with what Drewski, all that Drewski is doing, but look at how he's, I don't know. Yeah, some people who are defending him. Yeah, he's just pointing out the hypocrisy of these false prophets and perhaps, but I don't know. Is it really that, or is it really like pointing out the hypocrisy, or is it just trying to steer people away from the faith, which they will automatically connect with religion? But yeah, yeah, the social, they have become celebrities. Yeah, right. They hijacked YouTube, social media. Yeah, yep. 2015, 16. Yeah, we can go into so many reasons or what led to the downfall of social media, or and just talking about YouTube alone. But I think one of the main reasons why there's this downfall, and for one, you have all these little cliques, and whenever there's going to be these little cliques and gangs, whether you call it red pill, divestors, whenever there's these little cliques and hashtags that people are rolling with, that right there is, like I saw that even in the message forum community, like they call themselves the Paints. Whenever these hashtags and little communities that people are rolling with, whether it's FBA, that right there is alarming sign. And people gotta we see is that was the thing. Social media, like YouTube, it was individual channels. It wasn't, initially these gangs and crews and posses. And that's ain't nothing wrong with forming a community of some. That's not necessarily wrong. The spears and all of that. But everybody on the pill, or I'm on this pill. I'm a or they're going their own way. But see, there's nothing wrong with forming community, and I guess that's no worse than creating a family, right? But it's when it's that gang and cult like mentality, and then with people just jumping on what they see as what's cool right now. If they think it's cool to like if they feel the manosphere is cool in the way to go, you're going to even see women jumping on saying that they're part of the manosphere. Yeah, people are just going. I don't think people are really male and female, quote unquote black, quote unquote white. I don't think anybody's real. I don't think there are as many people just really, really coming up in here. Like you see, I'm just randomly talking on what's in my head. I don't think anybody is saying what they really feel, what they really believe, what they truly feel, what they really want deep down. I don't think people are being honest. What do you really want? They're not expressing if they are really hurt. Like, just why don't you just admit you've been hurt by the opposite sex? You've been hurt. It's okay, male or female. It's okay to cry. It's okay, but there's all this victim taunting that you're whining, playing victim. And yeah, don't get me wrong. Some of these people are just whining. Maybe if they talked about it and wasn't not being afraid of being seen as a crybaby, maybe they could stop whining, because it does get to a point where it becomes whining when you don't release, but you need to cry. You need to let it out. And maybe if you just release that one time, and I'm not saying release like going straight up crazy or ham on somebody, on people, but if you just really was honest, okay, yeah, I was hurt. I was in this relationship. This person really hurt me. I can't lie that, when I see this, it makes me feel insecure. When I see, the females or males in my race get with other people. It hurts. If we were just honest about that, oh my gosh. Not just going along with the popular narrative, not to, especially if it's something we didn't witness and see for ourselves and have no proof of, not just, but just being honest. What's this really about? What is it really about? What's that, because I can admit, like, if things have hurt my feelings up in here, if things have hurt me, because you're going to eventually, are you trying to be a tough guy? People are going to eventually see that you're just a whiner. You're just another whiner. And you know why? Because you keep complaining about the same thing that you know you don't have to even deal with if you choose not to. But see, maybe if you released from the jump and let it off your chest, instead of worrying about people seeing you as a whiner, maybe we can talk it out. But anyways, I just wanted to express that nobody is really, you see, and this that's why this needed to happen, that whole Just Pearly Things versus Anna, because it wasn't about, regardless of where you stand, the bottom line is Ana Kasparian was saying or speaking on what she believes, and she was able to support that with facts. But she still had emotion, whereas Pearl was reading a script. She was following, and I don't even understand why she had to read anything when this is something she's been parroting over and over and over again on her channel. But yet she still had to read, and it wasn't like she was reading statistics. She was, yet she still had to read something that she had been saying on her channel every day. And she still had to, so that tells you that this was a person, she's not passionate. The way that she chuckled about men unaliving themselves, trying to use that as a joke, that could tell this is a person not passionate about what it is that they claim to be standing for and speaking for and representing. And they're not speaking what they really feel. They're not saying what it is that they truly believe. And I'm not saying that what we believe is necessarily right now. There's people that, believe in Satan, not just that he exists. But even with those ones, how can we reach them if we don't know where they actually stand? If you actually say, and if you trying to reach these people, you can't reach them if you don't know actually where the heck do you stand. That's why Ana, I'm really analyzing this with this debate. That's why she was asking, like, what are you doing? She just had to eventually, what are you doing, Pearl? What are you doing, Pearl? And I'm telling you, she got it like she wanted to cry and show emotion. But she's been so busy trying to play, cool, because, she represents the manosphere. But I believe that some of these people, some of these people who seem and come off desensitized, it may be something even deeper. Right. And you know what? Once upon a time, there were those who were like, I could say that social media has been somewhat therapeutic. It definitely was therapeutic for me at one time. I came up here definitely. I was even more so when I dealt with certain tragedies, and it helped me to get my mind off. And me just talking, it helped me to get my mind off of losing my mother. Then a year later, losing my brother. Then a couple of years, and then losing my grandparents and cousins, and then losing my sister. So yeah, it was definitely an outlet. And I just expressed what I feel, whether it was on music, but I'm gonna tell you what you hear me saying up in here, even whether or not you believe I'm right or wrong, I am saying what it is that I feel and believe. Okay, I am truly saying what I feel and believe. And you could tell because my content is never so one-dimensional. Now, it's one thing if you're up in here, okay, I do videos on crafting and art, and that's what you're about. Yeah, that's expected. But those like myself, like that's another, you could tell if they're totally one-dimensional. I'm going to tell you, there is no person, ain't no woman, like, for instance, a woman where she's just, everything is bad about a woman. That's not natural. If it's a black woman and only time she talk about black woman is something bad, that's unnatural. If it's a black man and only time he talk about black men is some negative example, that's not natural. I don't care. They may try to throw a token in here and there. That's not natural. It's unnatural. Some people try to say, well, you're the same way when it comes to lighter black people who happen to have a lighter skin. First of all, that is just a trait. But you don't see me up in here dogging out black women who happen to share the same complexion as me, just because you see me defending black women as a whole, and the majority happening to be of a darker complexion. But you don't. How would I feel? How would it look me being up in here like just finding reasons to target females, lighter skin, black females who happen to be of a lighter complexion? You've never, I don't care what anybody, they cannot say that they've heard me up in here dogging out black women merely because they're lighter skinned. Absolutely not. Yeah, just wanted to come up in here. But I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, just wanted to, because I know it takes me a minute just sticking to the point of what I want to say. Because this whole thing, I had definitely listened with the, I could really break it down with the whole thing with the Just Pearly Things versus Anna, but it really got me, and and I'm just tapping into, it's time to get off the pier, the pills, and get out these spears, and you just need, people just real folks again, real people, and just I don't have to agree with you on everything, but just say what it is you really feel or believe. Well, not everything has to be said. Some things, like I don't need to express. Like if I found somebody ugly, we don't have to say everything. But I'm just saying. Just wouldn't mind some real people up in here with some real emotions. Stop fronting. Stop trying to act like you're too cool for this. Try so afraid of being seen as a victim or a whiner. Well, guess what? Some of you guys who are trying to taunt other people as whining and being victims, playing victim, you guys are the whiniest people up in there, believe it or not. This is what I say, with a lot of these white folks who believe that they can taunt other so-called minority as playing victim when they're doing more whining. The Nick Fuentes types are whining more than anybody. Okay, talking about fatigue. Like say, if you're tired, like Luda would say, if you're tired, be quiet and go to sleep. So damn fatigued and get your ass to sleep. But I'll get back to y'all. Okay, all right. I'll get back with y'all tomorrow. For real. Let me just get to this point. All right, then, y'all.